I I was just thinking about it because all our students are in the midst of adversity right now. Like we are all in adversity right now, and adversity adds on to our anxiety, our stress, or whatever we're trying to do. It adds another element to think about and to strategize to get around. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I came up with that issue, that topic, because a lot of our students, I don't know if you know, we got D's and F's, a lot of D's and F's in our virtual learning classes. So obviously something's affecting them, and we got to figure out how to get around it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what I was thinking, I was like, man, I mean, we don't get no pass. Like, I understand that people have different circumstances and different things that are going on in their lives, but you still have to keep on pushing and keep positioning yourself for whatever you want in the future. Because if you just stop now, you still have to make up that time going to whatever you want. And if it takes 10,000 hours to be really good at something and you stop at 1 hour because something, you feel me? if,
Yeah.
if something comes up that doesn't make the circumstances quite right or um, positive for you, and you stop at 2 hours or 100 hours, then you gonna miss out on that opportunity.
Right. I feel like, I don't know. Like it's just a lot of things going on. So with the whole COVID situation, I know that that definitely does make an impact. Like I can't even imagine having to sit and be on Zoom all day and just, sometimes you have like all these things going around in your house. Like you have other siblings, so they're doing the same thing. So or you have younger siblings and your parents got to go to work and you have to take care of them. So like there's a lot of obstacles right now going on for our students. So I can understand why it like grades might be slipping, and things like that. Procrastination, like if if you were a procrastinator already, just being at home, it's even worse. Even for professionals, like even for myself, like I know that I've probably been procrastinating more because I'm at home than if I was, like on the job, like physically. But it just, like you mentioned, like you can't, like there are a lot of like reasons and like excuses and stuff, but at the end of the day, like you have to buckle up and go for it.
And deal
You
with it.
can't live your whole life.
Yeah.
Right. You have to figure out how to make it work and finding people to help you make it work. And I think that was my biggest takeaway in college was when I got there, I've been so used to like I don't like asking for help. I'm a very independent person. And when I got to work, not work, but when I got to college and things started to get real, I
When
kind of like
when
at first
did
I hesitated.
what do you mean when things started to get real?
Yeah, so like my first semester was really, it was really nice. Like it was a great transition. Like I had already done like MCC, so I already had kind of 2 years under my belt. Because I took college credit while I was in high school, so I already had like a feeling of what college was like in a sense. And so my first semester, it wasn't that bad. And then when I got to my second semester, that's when courses started getting a little tougher. And um, my sophomore and junior year, even my senior year, I had some classes that were really tough. And I feel like what I struggled mostly, like my freshman year, it wasn't necessarily academic. It was just getting over that culture shock and like feeling like I wasn't struggling academically, but I was struggling more of feeling like I belonged in college. Like not even in Manhattan. Like it was more of like in college because I would sit in class and like my peers would be talking about, oh yeah, like I read this book, blah blah blah, in high school, and I'd be like, you read that? Like I have never heard of that book or that famous author. And meanwhile, I was in high school, I was reading The Pact, and like nobody knows what that is either. But it's because my high school was more about having literature for like students of color, because that was our, population. That's like, you know, and
But
in and
on the other end of that is, um, just because you ain't read the same books doesn't mean that you're behind or anything like that. Like
yeah,
they might not have the same experiences as you. And one of my most favorite quotes is, every adversity comes with it the seed of its equivalent or better advantage. So just understanding that quote, if you are born in adversity, you have a bigger seed of advantage than somebody who has been given it to them all their lives. I had recent conversations with people just this week about that, and I'm like, yeah, we might come from some difficult circumstances, but ultimately those circumstances are preparing us for difficulty to come and to handle
mm-hmm,
difficulty to come. And once you go through, we can call it winning and losing. So once you lose for a certain amount of time, you'll get understand it. You either get used to it or you start to understand how to win. And that's what we need to understand when we're in our adversity, whatever that looks like. So you mentioned, well, I broke it down into three parts: is environmental adversity, physical adversity, and then mental adversity. So if you look at those three things when you was talking, the environmental, like you change whole environments going into college, right?
right,
Physical. Last week or last time you talked about how you didn't know where the cafeteria was. Like that's a physical barrier. Like that was holding you back from eating and nutrition and being healthy, right? And being able to function as a human being in college,
right,
right? So that physical barrier was there, that adversity was there. And then mental, like I didn't read this book, so maybe I'm not as smart as that other person, or maybe I'm not supposed to be here, but you have three adversities
mm-hmm,
that are weighing on you as an individual, and you have to deal with that. And sometimes it's the easy route is to just not deal with it and just
right,
play it off to the side. And I'm asking students, like, we don't get a pass as people of color. We don't get a pass. We got to make it through whatever to get where we want to go, but that's going to prepare us for the trials and tribulations of what is going to what we're going to face in our professional lives, family lives, whatever. And
yeah, for
go ahead.
sure. Yeah, for sure. I feel um like thankfully, I didn't have to face like a lot of financial adversities, like
Oh,
just
financial is
because of like
another
the
one.
right, just because I had like my scholarship. But like that's something that students are going to have to face sometimes too. And then like I said, you learn, and it just also just depends on how you look at stuff, like um when things are happening, whether you decide to, okay, let it get to you, because that's what happened to me. It was like at first, like I did start feeling, like maybe I didn't belong there or things like that. But it was honestly fine, like getting out of my comfort zone and reaching out to like just finding organizations on campus with like people that looked like me, people that felt like me too, because you have to realize that there's people out there that are feeling or thinking the exact same thing. Like especially for students of color, when you go to a predominantly white institution, when you first get there, you might have that sense of um like no one understands. But I trust and believe believe that there's people that will understand what you're going through. So once I found my people, like people that were kind of first generation, Latinx, or just any like student of color, honestly, and just felt like they didn't belong in this institution. We started, like you start to feel like, hey, I'm not alone, but also you become, you know, you like that network just becomes people that can support you, and if there's opportunities on campus and things like that, like once I started getting involved, I realized that I was there, and that like my troubles, or so-called my struggles, they actually to others, and like being able to talk about that, like that's why I wanted to be a college advisor, because it's like, okay, like I know that I'm not going to be the first or last um student of color that felt like I didn't belong, or that college would have like what if I failed, and all this stress, and like my parents, like they came here to this country for me to get a better life, but what if I don't get good grades, and like what if I don't get the degree, and all that stuff, like you think about. Like I wanted to make sure that students, whenever they're getting close to going into college, that they could see for themselves, like if she could do it, I could do it. Honestly, like that's like when I had my circle of friends, it was that. It was like finding people that were a little bit old. I've always had friends that were older than me, and being like, hey, like if she could do it, I could do it too. You know, like that's why representation is so important, even in like classrooms and things like that. So
Yeah,
making
and I
sure you
think
find a good support system.
mhm. And
Yeah.
I want students to get to a point to where even if you don't have a physical support system, like you don't have people that are around you, you need to feel like you belong wherever you are. And
Mhm.
you and understanding your ultimate goal is like I need to get to a certain place. I don't care who's in my way. Like not in my way, but
Right.
like what path I have to take. So if I'm around people and and I don't feel like I fit in, I still need to be there because I know I need to get something from this. And that's how I operated when I was in school. And I was like, I mean, my school was more diverse because we had a lot more athletes at,
Mhm.
school wide. So it was a lot of different people. But still, like dealing with people in the offices, like financial aid, registrar, different things like that. I had to go talk to those people because my family didn't know anything about that. So if I'm not able to interact with those people and get the information that I need to get me to the next level, then
Right.
and then like there's no support system to handle that, right? And your friends don't know your financial um,
Struggles.
shortcomings or problems or whatever. Like we don't like to talk about that. We should talk about that because I mean we can't do anything about it necessarily, but
Right. I mean, and and I feel like that's why you have to make sure you put yourself. I know it's hard, but like you have to make sure you put yourself in uncomfortable situations, because no matter how like older you get, you're always gonna find a situation where it'll be uncomfortable. Whether it's like at your new workplace, whether it's in college, whether it's in just life in general. Like you have to be able to know how to navigate through those situations, and know that sometimes you have to be uncomfortable in order to get something done. Like that's just how life is. If
change
you really
change is the constant. You have to change and be adaptable. Adaptability
mhm.
is like humans aren't still around because we didn't change. We're around because
Evolve.
we changed with
Yeah.
the times. And that's it. That I mean, if you're not able to adapt to your environments and different things like that, not um conform. You don't have to conform. And this is the message that I try to portray to um, the students now, is that the world is going to become more diverse, and you being in those places where you're the only, you are there for a reason. You are there as the beginning of the diversity, right? So it's not, I don't want it to be like a pressure, but it's on you to figure out your place in that organization or wherever you are, to understand that, so that the next person that comes along, you have been a work or a representation for who's to come next. Because like a Barack Obama, like he was the first black president. He was the only, right? you can't do you can't ask the first person to be the exact perfect person to do everything that is perfectly right. And that's what I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to get to. Like, you need to just be there. Your presence is is important, to just be there and interact, and because you're the start of it. The next thing you know, it's two of y'all, it's four of us, you know.
Yep.
And then now it's all blended now. I mean, and then we got to go through that kind of a time period where our ideas aren't getting uh, received by
Mm-hmm.
whoever you know. We have to go through that. Somebody has to go through that to teach whoever's coming next. Like, this is how you get ideas across, or this is how you do this, or interact, or um, show that your worth, or whatever. And then we keep moving from there. But your presence and being there and being uncomfortable and being willing to change and get out of your comfort zone is the most important thing.
Right. And and I mean, you have to know that. Like, I think something that I learned was, no matter what you do, like, some people are gonna agree with you and some people are not gonna agree with you. Like, and I think that was something that I learned when I was more involved in like organizations and I took executive positions. Um, I was like president for my sorority, and I know I made decisions that not everyone agreed with, but I did it in the best interest for, our organization. That's the same thing. Like, as you get older, you're going to be making decisions that you feel are best for you and for your career and for your goals. And some people might not agree with them or not think that, your goals are, they just won't agree. And that's fine. Like, you have to make sure that you're able to accept that, not everyone's going to like you
At
either.
all. Mm-hmm.
And that's the real world. Not everyone's going to be your friend. Not everyone's going to like you. You just have to. And people that you might consider your friends now, like 5 years from now, you might not even be friends anymore. And that's fine. Like, people change, things change. It's just it's just that fear though that we have of change, that you just have to like get used to. And I always like to think, like, at the end of the day, no matter what, like, you have to be content with yourself, because that's the only person that could never leave you. Like, you know, like, you're born with you, you're gonna die with you. Like, you have to love yourself.
Yeah, you gotta love yourself and know yourself. If you know who you
Right.
are, you will be. The more you know yourself, the better off you'll be. And then knowing other people comes next. Like, if
Mm-hmm.
my character doesn't change, you and our characters don't mix, or we can't be friends, then I'm okay, because I know who I am and I know what I bring to friendships, relationships, all of that. Because even in the work environment, those are relationships. Like, you have to build trust, and you
Right.
have to build um, just build trust, basically, to work with anybody. You got to be open, you got to be welcoming, like and that's I
Mhm.
think across the board in many of our workplaces, like people don't allow, this is what I deal with, people don't allow for the learning process to take place. Like they expect you to know everything and be everything and and but you just came into the position. You don't know
Yeah.
exactly how to move about, so you're learning different things at the same time. So once you go into this new environment, as a worker, as a school person or a student, you're already in a new element that is providing you adversity, right? Because it's new. Now
Mhm.
we have the social dynamics of different things, learning what the social dynamics are and how to move inside of those social dynamics. And then you have to figure out your place. So a lot of this is on the fly, but if you can be aware of it and you can be more comfortable. It's like practicing sports.
Mhm.
Like uh, you you do boxing, right? You did boxing, so
I
you
did
practice
boxing,
the
yeah.
huh?
Yeah, I did boxing for a
Yeah,
little bit.
so you understand like
Yeah.
practicing, like you practice your combos, but you also practice how to defend yourself, right? At the same time,
Right.
and you had to be aware of that before you get into the boxing ring for the boxing match, right? Just like this, like we're talking about this now so that somebody else can hear it and be conscious and aware of it, because ultimately success is intentional, success is deliberate, right? So if we can be more intentional about our success and knowing that this is coming up, these are some milestones that have to be are going to be checked off in our process, then you'll be way better off than I was, than you were. So that next
Right.
generation of people, like they will be aware of it and
They
like,
feel like they're more set.
yeah, to be
Yeah.
able to handle it better than we did, because they got an example from me, they got an example from you, they and now they like, okay, and then they don't even have to go through the actual issue, like they don't have to like they don't have to endure the pain or the
Right.
pain points that go with going through that adversity that we went through. So they can
Mhm.
kind of avoid it because they have some knowledge about, these are some things, that strategies that we use or people before me use, and now I can do this and this to make it a little bit better for myself, and I can move on through this and not have that be a barrier to my outcome or my
Right.
goal.
Yeah, I think so too. I feel like, certain, like little by little, um like, because there's probably things that we didn't have to endure that the people previous to us had to endure, and then they, like that. And just know that all the little things that you do, they do have like that domino effect. Like, and that's what we're trying to do right now. Like, we're trying to prepare our students, we're trying to have them be able to kind of get a, like a feeling, of of empowerment, and be able to know that you will face, because we can't sit here and say that you won't struggle through college, or that, things like that. No, like, real life will happen, like, and it's okay, like, and it's fine. Like, we all go through different um struggles, and it's just a matter of making sure you're prepared for some of those struggles, and making sure that you kind of know, what to do, and things like that. And most importantly, like you mentioned, is like not to allow those struggles to own you, and take away from your success, but rather learn from them, and make sure that you're still, grinding, you're still striving for that goal that you set. um and sometimes it's fine. Like, I when I look back when I was 18 and to where I am today, like, I'm proud of what I've accomplished. But it's funny how I thought that by like 25, I would have like, oh, I'd have my degree set, and I would have already done, and I would be in like finishing up grad school, and probably married, and had a house, and a nice car. I had those goals for myself, and at 18. But then like now I'm 22, and I'm like, well, first and foremost, I'm very single, so no marriage. I'm living at home. I got a car though, and I got my degree. So it's like there's just certain little things that you have to allow yourself to be flexible on and not so hard on, because I feel like sometimes we get on social media and we see other people our age, and they have like they're in a different spot than we are, and it kind of makes us feel a little bit down. But it's just like success is like it's a process. It's about progress. It's about, not everyone's going to have the same path of success, and it's okay to be flexible with your goals, as long as you don't give up on your goals. It's okay to be flexible to a certain extent, like you shouldn't have so
and
much pressure.
goals change like as you get
Right.
older. So you
Right.
may have to revisit, like if you got to 20 22, and then you still not to 25 yet. So if you take a year off and you go back to grad school, like you can take that 2 years is going to put you at 25. So the goal isn't necessarily unattainable. It's just
Yeah.
a different route from what you saw in the beginning. So I mean, you said you were still planning on going to grad school, so you can still be done by 25. Like and a lot of what we don't understand, especially as people of color, we think we have to get somewhere by this amount of time, but
Right.
we don't take into account that we're not as set up as other people. Like it wasn't quite set up for us to go along these lines and progress as quickly, because I see it in myself. I have like my best friend from grad school. He's a white guy. We like a year apart. We graduated a year apart with our master's degree. He has he built a house. He has his dream car. He has another car that he he had in grad school. He has a wife, a kid, like, and I'm living at home with my mom. Like, not living at home. Like we live together because it works for both of our situations. But it's like, shoot, and I put in more work.
Right. You're like, hey, sign me up.
but but on the other end of that is that now, after doing all of my work, and this has been 11 years, almost 11 years after I graduated, and almost 12, yeah, 11 years, 10 years after he graduated. Now, after that time, in those 10 years, 11 years of struggle, I make more money than him now. And then my income
Okay.
keeps going up, and I'm still in my
Right.
progress where he may have plateaued. I'm not saying that he
Yeah.
did, but like he's at a point in his life where it's kind of steady. And
Mhm.
he's not like he's a teacher, so he's not going nowhere as far as teaching. Like he still gets like, but now like I put in so much work and added so many skills that on top of what I already do here with
Right.
Sumner Academy. Like I work at Sumner Academy. I teach group fitnesses on the side. I don't teach as much now, but like I was teaching 10 classes a week, 9, 10 classes a week. That's $250 a week. That's
Right.
$1,000 a month, of group fitness classes. That's extra on top of what I already do. And then I drive Uber, like, but I was already doing the Uber and the group fitness before I
Mhm.
came to Sumner. You know what I mean? So I just
Right.
added on top of whatever I was already making from Sumner, you know what I mean, with Sumner. So now that puts me in a different way. Now I can handle all of those different things at the same time. And I'm able to move and I'm able to organize and do time management because, like, now I'm used to it. And now I have ideas to help other people do the same thing. And and now I'm like, hey, you can't tell me nothing. Now I'm unstoppable. Like, you can't do what I do. So if you can't do what I do, you can't tell me how to do it, right?
Right. And that's how it is. Like, I feel like you have a really good point. Like, I think like most of us, like people of color, like when you get your degree, you kind of expect like to already start making bank like right away, and things like that. Or like, but I mean, I have friends right now that, you know, they just graduated this year. You know, they're the same class as me, and you know, some of them like got their like architecture degrees or like big degrees, you know. And but with due to COVID, like it's really hard to find work right now because of like the limit of like resources and jobs, things like that. But just being able to see like some of my friends and sorority sisters just be able to, okay, they didn't get the job for the major that, you know, they got or whatever, but they're out here doing like little side hustles and starting their own businesses and becoming entrepreneurs. And like that's what it really is about. It's like when there's a door that closes, you know, there's always an opportunity for another door to open. And sometimes you might not get a door opened for you. You have to create that for you.
Hmm.
And that's what students should be able to realize. Is like it's just like in college. Like sometimes, you know, you might reach like, not when you get to college, not every professor is going to be like, hey, you know, I noticed that you have been, you know, slacking, or like,
Take an
hey, I
interest
noticed that.
in you.
Right, not every teacher is going to do that because like there's you're going to have some classes where, depending on where you go to, but like where your professor sees so many students a day, they might not have the time to do that one on one. It's up to you to open that door and be like, hey, Professor so and so, my name is blah blah blah. I'm actually kind of struggling here, like blah, blah blah. And the more you do that, like the more the like a professor might actually like start, you know, noticing, you know, and getting to know you, and being willing to like help you out even more. And I think that's what sometimes we forget. We think that like if a door closes, another one will open automatically, and it's not like that. Like sometimes you have to be the one who makes that up for all that stuff.
And this is why I really try to get to students of color is that if you really have a passion for some things, like, when creating that door for yourself, it might look a little different. So um, my my original plan was to be an academic advisor, but I never got an academic advising position. So I was just like,
Hmm.
I'll do what I already have skills in and be around the environment and learn the different things and different elements of the environment, and I'll create my own way. I didn't know what that looked
Right.
like or whatever, but then in that process, I started understanding what I actually wanted as far as my dream was concerned, as far as dream career. And since nobody gave me that opportunity to be just an academic advisor, which I could have
Hmm.
done because I navigated the whole process by myself and put myself through college, grad school, all of that stuff. And
Right.
I just was like, I'll just do it myself. Like, you don't give me the opportunity, I'll figure out another way. So then I got into group fitness classes, um and then I was like, oh well, if I piece my nonprofit background together, nonprofit and recreation background together with the program that I want to run for my ultimate goal, and then I put the group fitness as a part of that. So things started piecing themselves together, like the puzzle pieces started coming together because of the adversity that I went through. You still there, Leslie? Oh, man. You on mute.
Oh, I said I heard you, and I agree because that's what I'm going through right now. It's like, I got my degree in education and English, and so I thought I would be teaching English right now. And here I am as a college advisor, which is nothing wrong, like I know, like my last semester in college, my spring semester, I was so like worried about, well, what am I gonna do now? And I was like really concerned about just just employment and what job am I gonna get and things like that. And one of my advisors, um not like well, it was like more like a mentor, not really like a school advisor, but one of my mentors, I had like a lunch with them, and they told me, they were like, hey, like you're putting too much pressure on yourself, like just like, keep in mind your dream goals and careers and all that, that's good. And she was like, but you have to understand that a lot of professionals, they don't start right away where they see themselves. You have to start somewhere, and it's fine if it's not where you can't expect right away to be at the top. Like
Hmm.
that's not usually what's going to happen. And it's true, it's like, okay, like my real goal is to have my own nonprofit in the future. But I'm starting like with my college advising, and like going to grad school for administration, and like nonprofit, and like things like that. It's like little steps that you have to take every single day towards your bigger goal, and making sure that you understand that sometimes, like it's not your plans are not going to follow through sometimes. Like you have to be real with yourself. And it's okay as long as you don't lose sight of what you really want. And
Hmm.
that's what I had to kind of, you know
There's
be
steps
able
to it.
to be
It's
flexible. Yeah.
yeah, there's steps to it. So what I do in my personal life coaching business is that like I make people visualize what the person that they need to be when they have that ultimate goal. So you want to be a nonprofit, you want to have your own nonprofit. What do you look like? How do you move? How does it feel? Like, are you leading people? Are you? These are things that you can work on right now in the present, because you're going to have to develop those skills so that you'll be able to be that person that you see as your ultimate goal. And you lucky you caught me. you you caught the best person ever
Oh
to be
God.
working around, because I'm gonna get
Yeah.
you there.
Yeah. I
Because
mean, and that's the thing. It's like like, for example, like just my past internships, like this job right now, and things like that. Honestly, like it wasn't me searching for them. Like I it was just people who knew me. They honestly put me on, like. And that's what sometimes I try to tell people. It's like sometimes it's not even who you know, it's who knows you. Because if people know who you are, what you're capable of, um your goals, they can help you out. um and and it's just been really crazy.
and
And it's
but you
also.
also have to be conscious of the fact that you may not get that same opportunity. You know what I mean? Like sometimes
Mhm.
people know you and don't give you, or they won't help you out, not because of anything that happens to you or is wrong with you. It's just they don't understand your potential, and maybe you have too much potential. And
Your competition.
yeah, right. So all of those things come into play when success is a strategy. Like you have to be constantly strategy intentional and deliberate, is the as clear as I can say it, is because
Mhm.
I mean it don't just fall in your lap. You do have to
Right.
be on the path. You have to be on the path, but like those things don't just happen to you because you're a good person. Like you have to take your step. You had to graduate college. Like if you didn't graduate college, you probably wouldn't have got the opportunity. or if you hadn't been involved in those organizations, you probably wouldn't have met those people, you type of thing. So we got to do our part. As long as we do our part, we'll get to where we need to be, right? So
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. I hope people got something out of it. I did record this, so
Yeah.
you saw that?
I saw on the little top. I was like, "Oh, we recording? Okay."
Yeah, I didn't do no introduction, but hey, I felt it was going somewhere, so I was like, all right, whatever, let's just record this.
Yeah.
Um, any tips or any words of wisdom about adversity that we didn't already cover, so we can end this?
Um, any words of wisdom? Um, I would just say, like like I know it's the corniest thing ever, but everything does happen for a reason. Like everything does happen for a reason. Um, you might feel, like, oh man, like everything is happening to me, and like I can't do anything. Right? It's just like it's happening for a reason, and you have to be able to allow yourself to go through pain, because sometimes the best um fuel, or the best thing to give you strength, is going through something. So you have to make sure you know how to take those struggles and use them as motivation rather than as um something to get you down, you know.
And to piggyback off of that, my quote: every adversity comes with it the seed of its equivalent or greater advantage. If you can
Mhm.
understand that, you will be okay with all the adversity. Because I mean, you for me to really set this in stone, my senior year, 9/11 happened, right? In September 11, 2001, I was a senior in high
Mhm.
school. That changed the whole world, right?
Yeah.
2000 in 2008, I graduated in 2009. The 2008, the Great Recession happened. I graduated in 2009 with a master's degree, double major, certification in nonprofit, like all kind of experiences, but those opportunities wasn't there, right? So
Mhm.
that's adversity.
Right.
I'm like, dang, I got everything. I done checked every single box. That's adversity when you come out and they're like crickets. Ain't nobody hiring, right? And then
Right.
I had to struggle to get to where I am now. And now in the midst of a pandemic, I'm not even phased about it. Like I make adjustments. And if this would have happened 2 years ago, when I was just driving Uber and teaching group fitness classes, yeah, it'd be a different story. But I did the steps necessary to get a position at a school to where, like, I have a income coming in, plus I have extra
Mhm.
stuff on the side that supplement whatever can happen with my me or my family, right? So
Right.
I didn't let the adversity of the whole situation get me down. And I had been prepared for this through 9/11. Um, my aunt died my senior year too, in the second semester. You know, that's adversity. The Great Recession and not having a job and having all these student loans and almost going into default and things like that. So now I'm like, hey, it's a pandemic. What do I need to do? That's it. Like, I need to work extra. I need to do this, do that. Like, I need to sit at home. Like, I need to do it from home. Like, I'm just adapting because I can't be in a mental state to where like it affects me because I still need to get somewhere to go. Like, I got somewhere to go. I got a life prep program for disadvantaged student athletes to create still, like, and that brings it all together. Like, every adversity comes with it the seed of its equivalent or greater advantage. So every adversity that we face throughout life is preparing us for that next adversity. And the more you get adversity, you got to welcome it. Like, okay, I know I'm going through this. Let me figure this out now. And now you're going to be prepared for everything life throws at you. And then you get so good at it that it don't even affect you and you just living in abundance. You just living in
Right,
the good life.
you're just kind of unfazed to a certain point. You're just like, all right, you live in. You people be like, you live and you learn. It really is like that.
Yeah, it ain't that easy to. It's easy to say, but then, I mean, it's simple, but it's not that easy at the
Yeah,
same time. I love it. Like, I that's how I live. But we don't keep it as human beings. We don't keep it simple like that. Like we'll say that, and then we don't even live by it because it's hard to live by it. Because dang, all these things are happening to me, and I don't know what to do. All right, Leslie,
that's true.
thanks for coming on. No, not coming
Of
on.
course.
But we had some good
Thanks for getting on
conversation. Next
Zoom.
time, I hope we can get all three of us together and talk about some more stuff to help our students out, students now and to
Yes,
come, because this is on YouTube. So
we're gonna go viral.
we're gonna go viral. Casual conversations. We out.